Hi, welcome back to another FairyLoot unboxing. This is the box from December. So this is a UK box, and here in the States, when I subscribe to it, it usually takes about a week and a half to 2 weeks longer to get this box, just because it has to go through customs and the whole kind of bureaucracy of paperwork to get international mail. So I'm opening this now. It just came, I think last night or this morning, but it was on my doorstep. So I'm excited to get into this. This is December's box. Let's get started. All right, opening the box, it looks like this inside. I think the theme of this I was looking forward to because last month's box, it was interesting as well. And let me just get the book from last month. So this is the book from last month's FairyLoot. It is A River of Royal Blood. I really surprisingly enjoyed this book. I didn't think I would. I think the cover kind of put me off a little, and I looked at it and I was like, I don't know, because the artwork's not really my style. But I will say the storyline between the sisters in this book was compelling enough for me to keep reading it. And it is definitely about magic. It actually reminded me a lot of the kind of magic in Children of Blood and Bone. So if you like that book, you'll definitely love kind of the way the world of magic works here. In particular, the main character, Ava, she hasn't quite figured out her magic yet, and she has to ascend to the throne. Basically, the princesses in this royal court have to kind of battle it out to see who wins, and whoever's left living at a certain point becomes the new queen. And so they're raised with the knowledge that they're gonna have to fight each other, except one of the princesses hasn't quite figured out her power yet, because her magic is from blood and marrow magic, and it's not something that's around anymore. And so she doesn't have anyone to train her. She doesn't really know how to use her own magic, whereas her sister is far more, she has like a persuasive magic, so she can basically compel people to do whatever she wants, and it's very powerful. And so the book kind of takes place with her, Ava, figuring out how to use her magic and basically get ready for this giant fight that's supposed to happen between her and her sister. They used to be close, and then her mom, the queen, separates them at a certain point because she says, you know, you're gonna have to fight each other, you can't be friends. And so I thought it was one of those books where I just kept turning to see what was gonna happen next, and the character development was really great. So I highly recommend this book if you kind of like royal court intrigue with magic, and also kind of a character that's figuring out how to use her magic. So in terms of that quotient, it was a lot of fun. I really recommend it. This was a good choice from last month. But let's see what this month's book is. Okay, so this month's theme for FairyLoot is Defying the Odds, and here's the artwork. This is the spoiler card, so I'm not gonna get into this. I'll get into it later, but let's see what's in the box. So in the FairyLoot boxes, they have been continuing these tarot cards, and so here's the artwork for these two cards that have come this month. I only have the last 2 boxes or 3 boxes, so I don't really have the entire set. So for me, these are like nice to have, but honestly, I don't have the entire set, so I can't really speak to how they look together. But yeah, you get tarot cards. Although I wonder, like, once this card collection is over, what they're gonna do for the next series, if they're gonna continue just do another tarot card deck with a different artist in mind, or I don't know, but it'll be interesting to find out. The next thing here in the box is, it looks like black tea with orange pieces. That's nice. The tealeafco.com, I guess it's from there. It tells you it's also inside of this is a compostable packet, which is really nice, and so you don't have to feel too much like you're putting too much garbage into the world as it is. I know there's a lot of people, including me, who are worried about that state now, but it gives you brewing instructions and the packaging is there. Iad Black Orange Tea. I don't know what this is from, but I'm assuming it is from another book that I have not read. Oh, it's from inspired by Iad, the feisty character from The Priory of the Orange Tree novel by Samantha Shannon. So I will have to give that a try, but let me see. Oh, we have to tear it up. I usually like black tea and I like orange notes, so we'll give it a sniff and see how it is. The packet itself is inside, and this is the compostable bag, which is really great. Unfortunately, you can't really smell it through the bag itself, but it is loose tea, so you'll have to brew it as such. So it's nice. The next thing in the box looks like a pair of socks. Huh. Khalifa socks, it says. Khalifa socks inspired by The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Audier. So these, I'm gonna open this up because these are not crew socks, they're the longer kind. Here they are. Those are nice. I don't know if I would necessarily wear this out because they are a bit bright red and yellow and black, not my favorite color combination, but they would be good for just like at home socks when you're just like throwing something on and it's cold inside. And the material is nice. It's definitely spandexy, and the texture of the fabric is comfortable. It's not terribly soft, but it does feel like it would be cozy. But yeah, pair of socks. The next item in the box is a pin. It's a bookish pin. It's a very interesting one. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. It's a Fire Queen pin, and if you look inside, you can see the enamel engraving has a very interesting insignia on it. This one is inspired by the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, Aylin, and it is the Fire Breathing Queen pin by Bookmark Tattoos. So that looks really cool. It is a nice pin. It's got two backings, which is really great, and I love the color and the way the flames kind of blend into the face and the hair. The next item is a pouch, and it's kind of that leather material, and oh, the inside is quite nice. The inside is kind of like a fleecy microfiber, so it's not going to scratch up any electronics or things like that in there, which is really nice. It actually feels nicer on the inside than it does on the outside, but here the zipper is just a regular plastic zipper on top. This pouch is inspired by the Red Rising series by Pierce Brown, and it is designed by Chatty Nora, and it's the same design on both sides. I don't know when I would use this. I would say the size, I wish it was either smaller or bigger. Like this medium size, I'm not sure kind of what to put in here. If it was longer, I could put pencils or pens in here, but it's just this awkward size where I'm not quite sure what would do well in here. Maybe just extra cords, wires, or random electronic pieces. Maybe I'll put that in here. The next thing in the box, after all of this paper swizzle stuff, it looks like a cloth. It looks like a little handkerchief. It's not like a towel. It's kind of what you use to like clean eyeglasses or computer screens. And here's the design here. It's quite pretty. I like the color combination and the quote here. My favorite game is called How Many Chapters Can I Read in One Night? I can relate. I'm also one of those people who, when they read books, I just tend to kind of get tunnel vision, and I'll just binge on books. and then I'll take a big break, and then I'll read another book. And I'm a pretty quick reader, but I do tend to read in like spurts. So when I do get going, I get going. But this, I guess it's called a microfiber cloth, that's what they're calling it. And this is created and designed by Literary Life Co. And it's just another little FairyLoot kind of exclusive. Alright, the next thing in the box, it looks like they are those like magnetic bookmark tabs. I've gotten them in boxes before, and they're quite nice. They don't take up too much space in your book, and they don't like bend out your pages too much, but they are really easy to use. So these come in, so if you see, they're two-sided and they're just magnetic, and so when you put them on a page, they close together and they'll keep your place. But these are bookmarks, magnetic ones. These are inspired by Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. That is on my list of things to read. So I like Brandon Sanderson when he kind of took over the Wheel of Time series when Robert Jordan was in ailing health, and then he did die before the series finished, and so Brandon Sanderson kind of finished that. So I do like him, and I know he's writing a lot of his own books now, but this is based on his book Skyward. They were designed by Pigeon Princess, so these are super cute. I do like the little cartoonish way these are drawn. That'll be fun to use. So the next thing in the box is supposed to be a Game of Pencils pencil set, but I don't see it in my box. I don't think I got the pencils, so I'll have to email them about that. Maybe they ran out, or they didn't have enough of them, and so they didn't include in my box, or they might have just forgotten, but I'll message them and ask them about that. But this box actually has two different books, which winner, I do not mind getting more than one. And this is an advanced reader's copy. Advanced reader's copies usually are sent out by publishers to kind of reviewers or critics, or people who can hype up the book so that when the book does get released, they'll have enough reviews on Amazon or whatever to get people interested in reading the book. And so this one, it's kind of a publicity thing. So this is Wicked as You Wish. So it says 100 Names for Magic, book number 1, so I'm assuming it's going to be a series. It's by Rin Chupeco, best-selling author of The Bone Witch, and this is printed specifically for FairyLoot subscribers. So clearly they're targeting audiences of people who like to read kind of YA fiction, fantasy. So that's where that's coming in. It says it's gonna actually be on sale in March. So in a few months' time, this will be out on bookshelves, but in the meantime, we get to read an advanced copy of the book itself here, and it looks really interesting. And they also said that the book would be signed with a book plate, but I don't see that, which is interesting. I thought, well, it says here that the advanced reader's copy has an exclusive cover and is signed with comes with a signed book plate. Maybe that means that they're gonna, when they publish the real book in March, maybe we'll get another copy of it, but I don't see a book plate with this, and I'm assuming that this cover is gonna be only for FairyLoot subscribers. We'll see when the book comes out. It says, many years ago, the magical kingdom of Avalon was left desolate and encased in ice when the evil Snow Queen waged war against the powerful country. Its former citizens are now refugees in a world mostly devoid of magic, which is why the Crown Prince and his protectors are stuck in Arizona. It's a random place to be stuck. Prince Alexei, the sole survivor of the Avalon royal family, is in hiding in a town so boring that magic doesn't even work there. Few know his secret identity, but his friend Tala is one of them. Tala doesn't mind. She has secrets of her own, namely that she's a spellbreaker, someone who negates magic. That's interesting. Then, hope for their abandoned homeland reignites when a famous creature of legend and Avalon's most powerful weapon, the Firebird, appears for the first time in decades. Alex and Tala unite with a ragtag group of new friends to journey back to Avalon for a showdown that will change the world as they know it. Okay, so it's a world without much magic anymore, and they're stuck in a town so boring. There is no magic, but he's best friends with a girl who can negate magic. So I'm assuming somehow that'll come into play. Yeah, it seems like it's set in modern day Arizona, but then mixed in with a whole bunch of fantasy elements. So yeah, let's see how this goes. I will let you know next month how I like this book. But let's get to the actual book of the month for this box. Here is this month's book for FairyLoot. Happy reading in the little bag. So when you open up the bag, there's usually a few pieces in here, if you've seen my other book unboxings, you'll know. They always have here, it looks like a bookmark. That's nice. And then, oh, here it is. Okay. So they put the book plate for Rin Chupeco. I think her name is Chupeco. Their name is Chupeco. But here's the nameplate, the signed nameplate, so you can just stick it into the book. So I guess they put it for safekeeping inside of the book bag, which makes sense. Okay. Oh, there also is an author's note included for the book Wicked as You Wish, and this is signed by the author as well. Oh, this is cool. So once upon a time in 2010, I quit my job, sat down and wrote about a Filipino teen who waged war against the Snow Queen. I had no idea what I was doing, only that I so badly wanted to be a writer. As it turned out, I was oblivious to the marketing trends back then that would have told me this would not end well, and it didn't. I found an agent and publisher in 2012 with The Girl from the Well, but every time I finished another book, I would always return to this one. Sometimes I revised madly for weeks, sometimes I would ignore it for months after changing only 2 lines. I knew I had something here. Most of my published books were gothic monstrosities, but then one had my personality. All the reasons why my favorite TV shows are comedies, why everyone who knows me best tells me my mouth would always get me in trouble, how I came to terms with being Chinese Filipino, but westernized by American media. With my love for fairy tales, despite knowing that it's not quite fair. I sold Wicked as You Wish 7 years later based on a pitch. I hope you like it for its personality. That makes me actually more interested to read this book. Again, they're doing more and more to bring more diverse books, which I'm really happy about because I'm a huge advocate and component, and I think that component is really important in getting different perspectives out there about diverse characters and just bringing that to young people who are reading this to see themselves in the books they read. And so this is really interesting to me. I don't think that this synopsis here does enough to translate kind of, I think, what the author is saying about bringing humor and bringing kind of fairy and comedy together, or magic and comedy together. So I'm excited to see what that's gonna be like, and I think this might be actually quite a different kind of fantasy, fairy, magic, YA book experience. So okay, I'm a little bit more excited now. Okay, again, they have the fairy scoop in the bag. This is, of course, just a little bit about the author. They have interview notes. They have details about the box and all of that thing. Here is the book. Ooh, H Will Fall by Sarah Harlan. I really like the illustration of this cover. It's quite nice. Though I have fallen, darkness will rise. Okay. Sarah Harlan. I don't know what else she's written, but let's open it up. And the inside book, it looks like it is the title Spine there, but then it's also embossed with a small figure here of, I guess, the characters falling. Again, it fits the theme of the back illustration of those characters falling. And then I think the dust cover, if you open it up, yeah. If you open up the dust cover, it has a complete illustration. 17-year-old Larkin is an empath, born with the ability to sense the emotions of others and siphon them to either conjure or destroy. But magic is illegal in Demora, so for most of her life, Larkin's powers have been repressed by Queen Malay's harsh edicts and the stifling presence of luminite metal. Maybe like kryptonite for magic? Yet when Demora falls prey to an ancient evil lurking below the surface, Queen Malay calls on Larkin and 7 other outlaws to save the kingdom. Descending into an underground realm full of unspeakable horrors, Larkin and her party must use their forbidden magic to survive what lies in wait, with teeth sharp and talons deadly. As Larkin battles for her life, she finds a light in Amias, a notorious felon with a shadowed past, and begins to come into her own magic. But as the dangers multiply and their band is picked off one by one, Larkin and Amias realize their fates are entwined in a way they can never have imagined. The 8 of them were chosen for a reason. So it sounds like kind of bad guys come together to do good, kind of group storytelling, and so sounds interesting. It is signed by the author here, and then I like these books now that are using kind of black pages in between certain ways or just as end pages. It probably takes a lot more ink, but it is quite dramatic. All right, so another kind of what happens when magic is repressed or they live in kind of a totalitarian government where they have to figure out how to save the world even though what they do and what they're able to do and who they are is forbidden. So that's a very common kind of YA trope theme, so we'll see if this one is good. Although it sounds like it's kind of like oh, you know those horror films where they like go under subterranean or they go underwater and they're trapped, and I hate those kinds of films because there's always like a monster in there that's like eating them, and it sounds like it's one of those like The Descent, but with magic and in a harsher kind of repressive regime. So this should be interesting. It sounds very different and quite opposite to the advanced reader copy of this book, so it's an interesting balance between the two of these books, and we'll see what I'm in. I feel like you have to be in the mood, like if you're gonna read something super dark or if you want to read something with a little bit more modern twist and humor to it. It's about how you feel, so hopefully it'll catch me on good moments where I'm like kind of ready for that kind of storytelling and that kind of those kind of characters. So we'll see how they go. But I'm definitely going to read both of these, and I will report back to you next month before opening up January's FairyLoot to tell you how I liked the book and what the selections were like. Here is the author's note, and with some art of the characters. It looks like they are represented as, you know, knights, but in the deep bowels of caves. It's cute. So she wrote it as if it was a bullet journal entry, so it's got a handwritten quality to it. She says, Dearest Fairy Looters, I'm writing to you from my bullet journal, which is where I go when I need to organize my thoughts and also when I'm feeling triumphant or scared. I retreat to my journal a lot while writing 8 Will Fall. I'm a worrier, and there's something both safe and empowering about jotting down thoughts next to a checked off list. I too feel that way about lists. I love making them. They're very comforting. Writing 8 Will Fall was not something that felt safe. The story challenged me at every corner. It terrified me, and there were times as I wrote where I felt life was going to be lost in some cavernous reach that I'd created, never finding my way to the end. But Larkin taught me the same lesson she herself learned within the reach. There is no courage without fear. I hope 8 Will Fall reminds you of this too. Brave the dangers ahead of you, dear reader. Thank you for taking Larkin's journey with her, and I'll see you when you make it out. For Sarah. All right. We'll see how it goes. I am excited to see what those 2 books bring. A lot of adventures, being stuck in the middle of nowhere, whether it's Arizona or I guess in the bowels of some cave. Next month's theme is Moon and Stars, so that should be interesting to see what that brings. Maybe some more kind of faraway space travel or worlds, alternate universes. I do like that kind of theme too, so that should be good. So yeah, that was the FairyLoot box. Out of all of the items in the box, I think the thing I liked the most was probably, the bookmarks. I do like bookmarks, and I actually really quite like the pin that came in the box too. I like the design, and I really love what it says on it too. It's really funny. Fire breathing bitch queen. So it's also made me really curious to read this series to see what that's about. So these are the two things I really liked in the box. I'm excited for the books. Let me know in the comments down below what part of the box you liked. I will say, apart from the books, the mix of things in this month's box was kind of for me. The socks, and the pouch in and of itself, like, I would rather have fewer items that are more quality than lots of items that seem like they're just like I wouldn't use them, or they just feel kind of cheap. So I will say that about this box. I mean, it's not the main reason I get the box. It's not for the bookish items, although it's a nice side thing. It's mainly for the books. So in that sense, I do like what came with the box. I just feel like some of the objects and items in here were a little lackluster this month. But I am excited to see what comes next for the next year, January, and we'll see what new kind of items that they trend throughout the year. There might be more things that they start, either the tarot cards or something else, who knows. But yeah, if you're interested, I will put the information about FairyLoot in the description, so if you want to sign up, feel free, go ahead. If you like YA fantasy, sci-fi books, this is where to go. So I'll see you next month. Thanks for watching. Bye.